Yeah. Testing, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Talking and testing. Testing and talking.
Okay. That should be good. That's recording. This is on. That's not working. Doesn't matter. Okay. So that should be good. Okay. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do 3 sets of different types of ink blots.
Cool.
So we're gonna start off with these, then there's some that are made in a slightly different style, and then Styles is gonna do some live butch art. During the first 2, you can just speak as you go. You're gonna have full control of the remote, which is right over here, so you decide when to move on.
Cool.
This is move forward. This is a laser pointer, which you won't need, but if you like to have fun, you can do whatever you want with it. And yeah, so whenever you're ready, you can start off with this one, and then you can just go through, and we can begin.
Cool.
Whenever.
All right. Off the bat, I'm seeing a face here. 2 eyes and then sort of a droopy nose. Kind of reads as a cat almost. There's like the kind of tear ducts, big tear ducts, and then a weird whiskery mouth.
I can see that.
And also like a little, the way that cats have like a V sometimes at the top of their heads. This for me is feeling sort of demonic. I'm getting sort of like some kind of ritual circle, and then a kind of ominous gate archway in the back. But it feels like a circle of people or something close to people. This one feels conversational. It feels like 2 people. Well, they sort of look identical, so maybe one mirrored person, but perhaps 2 people talking. But they're sort of heads in profile, facing one another. Feels like shoulders kind of angled toward me. And there's something a bit vaginal happening at the top. This also is feeling vaginal. Feels like legs sort of up and like the bottom of your thigh sort of, with like 2 leg components, like the top of the leg, the back of the knee, and then the calf at the top. This reads, I think, as a weird like government aircraft moving from left to right, although stagnated, but sort of an ominous like piece of war technology. This one feels mostly like a kaleidoscope, and there's sort of like the white circle with the kind of D-shaped bit, and then the one dot feels like a smiley face in profile.
Yeah, that's definitely what I saw.
Yeah, it feels sort of like video gamey. Maybe because he looks a bit like Pac-Man, but the rest of it feels video gamey also. This feels like faces. Well, not faces, but blank faces and shoulders. And it feels like a mirrored 2-headed person. There's like a slight hair eyebrow articulation, ear on the far left and far right. Definitely like outdoor concert feeling with something strange in the foreground, but the sort of like stage feeling with the string of lights at the top.
As if there's something grand.
Yeah, it feels sort of like festival, maybe celebratory, although these, like, the quality of ink blot images don't feel very celebratory. But if I imagine it as a photograph, it starts to feel that way maybe. And there's some absence in the front, in the foreground, which also feel kind of facey and also like kind of anime-y. Yeah. This feels like a big fly head, like two big fly eyes and a weird fly mouth and some wings. Also evoking sort of like video game. He's not, I think he could he could be scary, but he doesn't feel too scary. He feels sort of cute. This one feels similar but mirrored the opposite way, like a right side up face and an upside down face that feels like it should read as angry but is reading as quite cute again. And also feels sort of anime, sort of playful and like theatrical in its emotion.
We're gonna move on to the next set
Yeah.
of ink blots. Go back.
This is reading very strangely as vagina and also like church steeple, like that center. There's something very architectural and sort of grand feeling about that center, but it also feels like the negative of an earlier one that felt like sort of thighs opening. And there's also like a bit of an animal face in the center that like the white triangles feel like kind of like pointed fox ears. This also feels architectural. It feels like I'm at the very bottom of a very big building and I'm getting a very like strange perspective of it. It feels much bigger than me.
In an ass view.
What's that?
It's like an ass view.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's got sort of like the curve, like it's like volume feels really emphasized. Definitely body. Definitely like we're getting the torso without arms and then two legs. And there's something sort of ambiguous happening in between the two legs. And also in absence of arms, those the white forms on the outside feel sort of like wings, like there's something sort of bizarre and invasive and angelic happening here. This feels also kind of like animal buggy. The two like black curves underneath those white holes remind me of snakes. Like the way that snakes' heads are sometimes sort of flat and then their bodies thin out. And also the eyes are a little bit snake eye-y. Yeah, it feels like a mask also, kind of like a Batman, like with a point. This feels very angelic and also angelic, but like in a sort of demonic way maybe. Sort of dark wing feeling. Totally feels like a body with very big wings and also glowing genitals.
We have noticed a tendency today for
Yeah,
genitalia.
I believe that. And this also feels like genitals in some way. There's something about like when like that shape on one side is mirrored, it just like immediately becomes open legs, you know? And then whatever's happening in between them becomes genitals. This feels sort of like biological though. Like it feels like like the kind of blobs around that centered genital moment feel like gonads or so. Like they feel like this feels like a cross section science diagram that's only giving us that information. This also kind of feels that way. It feels like you've cut something in half and you're, yeah, looking at what's inside of it. Sort of like tissue, fat, cross-section feeling.
I think if you want to skip ahead a couple, these next few sort of also are like triangular shape.
Yeah.
It might be better if you skip ahead a couple, unless you find one particularly interesting.
I like this one. I'm drawn to this one. Feels less genital. Feels more like the top feels like a nose, with kind of like an interesting big like Santa beard, but a weird dark absence beyond the nose and beard. But that the emphasized triangle feels like a mouth that could start like moving the mustache, you know?
Yeah, I could see the mustache having like
Yeah.
through and came down.
This feels sort of in the way that some of them felt angelic. This feels sort of alien, which is maybe the discs on the side. They feel sort of like UFOs, and maybe like this feels like an abduction scene. Somebody being like sucked and stretched into space, and also decapitated by the screen. So like, yeah, moving. This reads as like the top of an animal skull for me, and is sort of, there's something like weird in the way that it's not totally legible. Like it feels sort of pointy in the way that bones around eyes feel pointy, and that like kind of ridge in the middle. Yeah, it feels like an anatomical skull, but a bit ominous.
So we're gonna get to the questions now. So is that all set up, Silas?
You should be good.
Okay. So me and Silas are gonna leave the room. We're gonna stand outside for a bit. We're gonna let you be for about a half hour.
Cool.
There's around 40 questions, so pretty much it's gonna start with who, what, where, when, why. If you want to just use that as a basic introduction, you can do that. And
Cool.
the rest of the questions are a bit more of interest, not just one word.
Sure.
And just take it wherever you want to go. Some people have spent 5 minutes on one question and then 10 seconds on the next.
Cool. Am I controlling them?
You are
Cool.
controlling them with the remote.
Nice.
So you got full control of how you want to take this at this point.
Awesome. Sounds great.
We'll see you soon.
Cool.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Natalie. I'm a person, and maybe that's the most important part. I'm an artist, and I'm sitting here talking to TV screens. I'm sitting here talking to TV screens at Bika School in Buffalo, New York. I feel quite connected to Buffalo, but I'm from a different part of New York. It is currently Friday, July 21st, 4:45 p.m., although when I looked at the clock a minute ago, it was 4:44, which is a more interesting time. It's a more interesting time because repeating numbers are interesting. Not sure that I subscribe to angel numbers, but it's sort of exciting to find joy in incidental numbers. and also I'll answer why I'm here, which is that I'm friends with Nick, and was interested in what's happening, and I'm the most interested I have been right now answering this question. I would like to say that I mostly make art. I do a lot of other things. I do a lot of making art with other people, or in service to other people, which I enjoy. I also work a job, which I enjoy less. And I wake up in the morning and I eat food and I do things, and then I go to bed and I do it again. I don't know what world I live in. I think I live in a world that I feel most often really grateful for and in gratitude to. And maybe I just don't have the words to articulate that world in a way that would do it justice. I think I care, or at least I try to care a lot. But caring can be really hard. But I try. And I hope that others try also. I don't know when it happened. I think maybe the Big Bang, although maybe not, or maybe it happened before the Big Bang, and maybe it happened a lot of times before the Big Bang, and maybe it'll happen again. But I don't think I was there for it. I don't think I was there when it happened. I think I'll stick with the Big Bang. I think that I like the idea of the Big Bang, and it has sort of a sweet name. And I like the idea. I haven't met the Big Bang, but I like the idea of what it would be like to meet it, or the sort of noise that it would make or not make, which might be more interesting. I'll shift away from the Big Bang now. I think I feel like I do get there. I did get there in time, I think, and I continue to get to there in time, and I think that there is always changing. But I do feel like in my life things are happening in time, which isn't to say on time, but in time. I think the way that I'm talking about this, the way that I've answered the question so far, I'll continue to do that. And I'll assume that we're talking about personhood or being sort of thrown into the world, whatever world that is. And I think I don't often think about saying yes. Like, I think I tend to be sort of passive about it, or say yes without saying yes. I tend to just agree with things and do things. So I'm not sure why. Maybe I don't have as much autonomy as I think I do. I think I tend to be. This feels like the care question. I think I try to care. I try to be there for them, whatever that means. I try to be present. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say, is that it is important to be present, and I try to do that in as many ways as I can. And maybe I find it most difficult to maintain presence for myself, actually. I don't know if I did do it. I am okay. um, yeah, this also feels, I tend to be passive about this too, maybe. This is the sort of not being present with yourself enough thing, but I am okay. And also often better than okay. What did you offer? The past tense throws me off. Although, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I probably do offer most of the same things now as I did in the past. Who are they? I'm going to take this to mean who is anyone that I am not? And I'm going to take that to mean, what do I think about people? And I think people are really good, actually. I really like people a lot. Yeah, I think it's special to be a person who gets to know other people. Yeah, and I wish I could know more people. There's a lot of people. And I know so few of them, and the ones that I know are so great that I'm sure there are other great people out there that I might not get to know, but also maybe I do know them in some other way. I think this is it. I'm actually pretty sure that this is it. Which is to say that like this is the thing to be doing, is like helping your friend out with a project, and talking to TV screens and letting it feel good. Yeah, and being with people. Or without people and with TV screens. I see TV screens. I actually, the more I talk and think about it, the more I'm feeling disturbed by their presence and the way they're all looking at me and asking me the same question. But I like you guys, and I'm enjoying spending this time with you, actually. I think I'm doing a generally good job here and elsewhere. I try to do a good job, but also I don't try to do a good job at my job. Don't tell my boss that, but I think that that's the least important place to do a good job, unless you have like a good job, you know? I think that I'm different in the sense that I'm different than I was. I'm a different Natalie than I was yesterday and a week ago and a month ago and a year ago and 10 years ago. But I don't think that I'm different than other people. I think that I am exactly the same as other people in the way that it matters, I guess. Not in a sort of like shitty way, but in a way that is like beautiful and connecting, and makes me want to be a person with other people. I think the point is to be a person and to feel, well, not to be a person in the broad sense, which does not mean to be a human by any means, but to be something, to be yourself, and to enjoy that and find pleasure in it, and also sort of let it be what it is. And the point is also to wonder about what the point is, for sure. Maybe that's the biggest point of it, is wondering, and wondering about the point. I think the way I do, probably mostly because of the people that I've encountered thus far in my life, and also the places. I grew up in a place that at the time didn't feel the most magical, but sort of looking back at it actually feels quite magical, and I feel very grateful for it. And I think the way that I do, because of people that have taught me to think the way that I do, and also because of people that have taught me not to think the way that they do. I don't want to just say my name because that feels sort of untrue. I don't know. Right in this exact moment, I am a person named Natalie who is helping her friend Nick out, and talking to these very personable TVs. I would like more money, which is to say that I would like to think a lot less about money. I don't actually know that I want that much more. I would like some more, but only enough that I don't have to think about it. And I would like to be happy and also to feel things, even if they're not happy. And I would like to feel that the work that I do in my life, not in the sort of big way, but like in the small daily way, is meaningful. And I would like to spend so much time with the people in my life, and also the people outside of my life that might enter it. I'm not pissed. I do get pissed, but not a little bit this morning, but not not about anything that's ever really that important. And also I think often strong negative emotions are indicative of like a deep caring. So, yeah. Definitely scared. I don't know of what necessarily. And also not all the time. Well, maybe maybe there's like an implicit fear all the time. And maybe that's like residual biology or something. Well, the TVs are kind of scary. I don't feel sorry for what I did. Yeah, no. Which is to say I don't feel sorry for like anything up to this point in a monumental way. I feel sorry for sort of silly things sometimes, or things that, I don't know, I do sometimes feel sorry, but in this big sort of, are you sorry for what you did way, I don't think I feel sorry. Was it the right thing to do? Great follow-up question. I think it was. I think back to my own sense of autonomy, I think I take it for granted or don't think about it enough. But I do feel as if I'm doing the right thing and I've done the right things and I'm sort of where I should be right now. I do think I should be sitting here telling TVs about the right thing to do. I feel good about that. I am there, and I'm also here, and I try to be here, but it's hard sometimes. And in the sort of, it's hard to be present sometimes, to feel it embodied and in the world, but I am here and there. I don't think that applies to me, because I am here and there. But I guess I'll say that in the moments where I don't feel here and there, when I don't feel present, I think it's because brains are tricky. And bodies are tricky, and they're they're a weird thing to try to connect to one another. And sometimes you can be in a place and not quite feel that you're in the place. I think that it will not come true, or more accurately, that it's always coming true. A lot is different, and a lot will be different. I'm different. The place that I'm in is different. I'm always changing. Places are always changing. I guess mostly because the people in them are also always changing. I don't know. I guess I most often say no to, well, I guess to answer this question and the last one, what's different? I don't often say no, but I used to say no a lot more in the social sense. And that's changed a lot. And I think that it has to do with being in the place that I'm supposed to be, not necessarily geographically, but also geographically. I totally see it working out. I feel good. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to say about it. I am here. I'm here and there. Yeah. How long until then? I think it's happening. I think it's now. And it's always now also. And I don't know if I stopped. Maybe I did stop something, but things are always different and changing. And yeah, it's hard to discern what it means to stop when things are always changing and starting and stopping and whatever. I don't know. I don't think wise is always the thing to do, to be wise. I think being wise is good sometimes, but I don't know if I need to be too wise in my life. I think that I can be a lot of things other than wise. And also maybe I'm giving the word wise too much credit. Maybe it's not about being wise. Or it's about being wise, but wise is to say like empathetic or something else. I've gotten a lot from it. I'm realizing that in most of these, it is meaning life for me, and I've gotten so much from life. And there's already so much that I would have missed had I not done it, or been given it, or something, whatever. Yeah, and I've gotten a lot from it, and I will continue to get more from it. Yeah, how about that? I think I've reached the end. It was really nice talking to you, TVs. I hope it was nice for you also.